Welcome back, my Duelist friends. Casual Duelist here, and it's time we start chipping into the unlimited budget versions of Cyber Strike. So, the first time I did this, with the $30 budget builds, I went with the straight-up Cyber style first, so I'm going to replicate that today. And before I get into it, guys, it's a guideline. This isn't the end-all version of the deck. There are other versions that are probably going to be a little bit faster and definitely slower. And I just went with a nice casual cookie cutter-esque, kind of not really budget-friendly version. So let me just go ahead and get you guys the deck profile. So first thing is up. You're going to need 3 copies of Cyber Dragon. He's our main guy, and I kind of wish that they were all one rarity or the other, but whatever. We're working with it. You're going to want 3 cores. He's still going to be one of your best first plays. I'm going to only run the single copy of hers this time. This time it's going to be triple Noster. I want to try to get to Nova as fast as possible, and Noster's effect actually helps out quite a bit. 2 copies Veer. We did build this a little differently this time, so we are going to use him. And 2 copies Jizukuru Star Destroying Kaiju. You guys can run Gamma Sail if you want. But as long as you have Fortress Dragon, this guy is, in my opinion at least, the better option. Going over to your spells, we're going to go with the strong one Called by the Grave. 3 copies Cyber Emergency. We're going to go with 2 copies of the Cyber Repair Plant and 2 copies of Cyber Rev System. We're also going to have Foolish Burial at 1, Harpy's Feather Duster at 1, give it up for the Battle Pack. 3 copies Machine Duplication. I don't know where my Ultras are, so we're going with the regulars. Single copy Monster Reborn. Single copy Overload Fusion, because believe it or not, this kind of comes in handy, but like feel free to take it out if you don't like it. Single Raigeki, and single Upstart Goblin. And now the next part's going to get crazy, guys. There are 9 traps in this build. I'm going to be using 3 copies Dogmatic of Punishment. And again, if you guys have Elder Entity Intis and you guys aren't wanting to run links, those would be great positions for Intis to get you more bang for the buck off this. 3 copies Impermanence. I ditched out my supers from the structure deck to start running my ultras again. It's just my favorite rarity. And 3 copies of Solemn Strike. I wanted to stick away from using the hand traps, and because I wasn't using a lot of main run hand traps right now, I felt like using my crossout designators would have been too much. Plus, I kind of wanted this deck to be a little more budget friendly, and like a lot of this has been found in structure decks at this point. So that's your 40 card main deck. And then time for the 15 card extra deck. So starting off with the fusions, I'm going to run 1 copy Barbaroid Ultimate Battle Machine. We're going to run 2 copies Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. 2 copies Chimera Tech Mega Fleet Dragon. Again, if you find that you're not running both copies of either one of these, feel free to modify right there. Those are good slots to change. Single of the Over Dragon, depending on how far into the game you get pushed. Single copy Rampage Dragon. Invoked Mikaba, finally have it. Finally going to get to play it in here. Going over to my Xyz, I'm going to have 2 copies Infinity. Give it up for the alternate art right there. Love it. 2 copies of Nova. And then going off to the links, I'm running a single IP Masquerena and Phoenix and Unicorn. Again, just kind of your basic links. But again, if you wanted to stick to just the Xyz Fusion action, feel free to swap those last 3 out for Elder Entity Intis. And again, that'll pair off with your Dogmatic of Punishment way better. So that is my version of the unlimited budget deck. Obviously, again, like I said, it's a cookie cutter. Make some mods, make the changes that make sense to you and your play style. I do hope that you guys enjoyed this. I want to thank you for stopping by and watching this today. And, you know, if you haven't already, maybe consider subscribing to the channel. But for those of you that only wanted the list, you guys have a great day. I'll see you guys next time. Everybody else, let's go over this. And then we'll let you guys go too. So, again, starting in the main deck, we're going to go over the Cyber Dragon just real quick. If your opponent controls a monster and you have no monsters, you can special summon it from your hand. It's a good start move. Way better back in yesteryear, but still, he's our boss. We're going to get the 3 copies of Core. When this guy is normal summoned, we get to add a Cyber spell or trap from our deck to the hand. If the opponent controls a monster and we control no monsters, we can banish this from the graveyard to special summon 1 Cyber Dragon monster from the deck. You can only use 1 Cyber Dragon, 1 effective Core per turn and only once that turn. And its name becomes Cyber Dragon while field or graveyard. So a couple different things going on right here. Obviously, this is one of our Foolish Burial targets, but I'd much rather use the first effect to get into my Cyber spells. But honestly, we could go ahead. We could still start plays if we had to toss it from the deck. Just be aware, it's a hard once per turn. You either get one effect or the other. It's very much like Shadal's like that. And he's just a good starter. He's probably the best normal summon in the whole deck. Then we get Hers. Becomes Cyber Dragon while on field or grave. You can only use one of the following effects per turn and only once that turn. If this is special summoned, you can make it star level 5 until the end of the turn. You cannot special summon monsters for the remainder of their turn except machines, which is fine. Or if this is sent to the graveyard, you can add one of the Cyber Dragon from your deck or graveyard to the hand. Again, he's kind of in here to be the 7th machine dupe target, along with the Core and the Noster. Noster bumped it up to 3 for this build. And it's just because, again, even if we don't do the machine dupe route, Noster is a great card. If we can start with this and regular Cyber Dragon real quick, we can still generate 2 5-stars. So this card becomes Cyber Dragon while on the field or the graveyard. You can discard another monster or special summon this from your hand. Let's say it's normal Cyber Dragon. When this is normal or special summon, target a machine monster with 2100 attack or defense in the graveyard, special summon it. Sets your Cyber Dragon back. You cannot special summon monsters for the remainder of the turn except machines. You can only use each effect once per turn. But again, if we're able to play 1 Cyber Dragon first, play Noster, we'll still be able to get another Cyber Dragon if we were able to discard one. So if you start double Cyber Dragon, single Noster, special summon by effect, pitch, summon by effect, summon. There's your 2 5s. That's real quick. Or again, you'll be able to have 4 cards on your side of the field. I did toy around with putting Boral Sword in here for a minute just because of this. And with Veer being able to do something very similar. I thought that would almost be a good move, but I reined it in last second. But that's okay. And again, it's another way of special summoning it. And again, as long as you have 2 Cyber Dragons left in the deck, simple as machine duping. It doesn't matter if you've already normal summoned. So you could summon Core and then still go into that kind of a play. The Veer name becomes Cyber Dragon while on the field or graveyard. You can normal summon, if you normal or special summon Cyber Dragon except during the damage step, you can special summon this from the hand in defense. You can only use this effect once per turn. Each Cyber Dragon you control gains 500 attack and defense. It's a little bit of a power bonus. It's an extension on the summoning effect. And it's actually pretty fun. So just in case you have to go to combat. Jizakuru, you can special summon this card to the opponent's side of the field in attack position by attributing 1 monster they control. This is a great way to out cards like Dragoon. Again, he can't be targeted, whatever. Tribute summoning is part of the game. He's being used as a tribute. It's kind of a game rule instead. He's definitely a target for this. So it's good. And because we're playing Fortress Dragon, we'll be able to snap this back off the field rather quickly. If your opponent controls a kaiju, none of the rest of that really matters. You have to be playing kaijus for that to affect. So you just want to snap something off the field. Called by the Grave to help chase hand traps. Cyber Emergency to add Cyber Dragon monsters from deck to hand. Again, activate one of those per turn. Repair Plant, if a Cyber Dragon is already in your graveyard, you can activate one of the following effects. And then if you have 3 or more Cyber Dragons in your graveyard at activation, you can activate both effects and resolve them in sequence. Only activating 1 copy of this per turn. So you can add 1 light machine from the deck to the hand, and then 1 light machine from the graveyard shuffles back into the deck. You get to pick either or. And again, this can help you sort out when you need to go into machine dupe if you have to. The 2 Rev systems are like extra Monster Reborns. Special summon 1 Cyber Dragon from hand or graveyard. It cannot be destroyed by card effects. It does make them like semi-indestructible. But It's another good way for us to try to go ahead and power forward into Nova. And additionally, this is not a once per turn, so if you guys have the room and you want to play this at 3, you guys can. Foolish Burial helps us get those reborns, those rev systems working. The Feather Duster's there just to wipe the opponent's back row. Machine Dupes target a level 500 attack or less machine and create extra copies up to 2. Same name from deck. And again, we have 7 targets that are all going to count as Cyber Dragon while they're on the field, allowing us to spam the level 5s to create our overlay. Monster Reborn, just generic Reborn. Overload Fusion lets us get into the 2 Chimera techs, the Over Dragon and the Rampage Dragon. And this will allow us to remove the fusion materials listed on Dark Machine. Fusion Monster, special summoning it from the extra deck by removing all those materials from our side of the field and discard pile. You do have the Raigeki, again, clearing the opponent's monster board. Upstart Goblins, just to draw 1, give your opponent 1,000 with the amount of damage you're able to do with a deck like this. It's kind of okay. Like, you just do it. Dogmatic of Punishments. Target a face-up monster card your opponent controls. Send a monster with an equal or higher attack from your extra deck to the graveyard. Again, notice it says extra deck. So it could be a Link, it could be an Xyz, it could be a Fusion, it could be a Synchro. Intis is the usual choice because it's about 2,500 points in this deck, especially when I get to explaining why Barbaroid is in here. You do have a shot that's worth 4,000 in there. It's a good card. You'll be able to destroy that monster, and then until the end of the next turn after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck. You can only activate 1 of these per turn. Again, we basically, sometimes we just go into a control mode, and so we're okay with that. And again, if we do this during our opponent's turn, then it's still fine. It's the end of your next turn. So you're still going to give that up. You just need to be aware of that. But again, once you've got Infinity, it's just about playing control anyway. You don't really need to play from your extra deck at that point. So Dogmatic of Punishment, good card, great card. Impermanence, I'm done talking about it. I think you guys know what it does. I think you guys all have your hands on it because you guys got the structure decks. It was one of the best buys, one of the more influential structure decks of 2021. And of course, Solemn Strike. Solemn Strike is basically what I'm always using to go after the hand traps. When a monsters would be special summoned or a monster effect activated, pay that 1,500 life points, negate the summoner activation if you do destroy the card, maximize it at 3. And again, for the most part, monster effects will not bother you. Going into the extra deck, it's more important that I explain the Xyz before I explain anything. So let's go with Nova first. So the way Nova works is it's any 2 level 5 machines. This is why we use it in Dino Mist. This is why we use it in Cyber Dragon. And I want to say there was one more. I think I used it in Cosmos. Once per turn, you can detach 1 Xyz material from this. Target a Cyber Dragon in the graveyard. Special summon that target. This is actually relevant for once. But again, you don't have to. You really don't. Once per turn during either player's turn, you can banish 1 Cyber Dragon from your hand or face up. On your monster card zone, this card gains 2,100 until the end phase. If this card in your possession is sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card effect, this is what we need. You can special summon 1 machine type fusion from your extra deck. Now, when I go over the fusions, one of the things that'll happen is a smart player, a smart opponent, is going to go after your Nova. They do not want Infinity on the board because Infinity can negate. So what they'll do is they'll try to get rid of Nova, and then it's up to us to be able to use Nova well. If we're needing a battle situation, we can go into Barbaroid. And if we still want negates, we can go into Invoked Mikaba. We'll go over those cards here in a second. Now, what you do with Nova for the most part is you go into Infinity immediately. So this is either 3 level 6 light machines, or once per turn, you can also Xyz summon this by using 1 Nova that you control as material, transferring any materials from that card to this. Gain 200 attack per material attached. Once per turn, target 1 face-up attack position monster on the field. And it's amazing because that's the only position Lynx can be in. Attach it to this card as material. Once per turn, when a card or effect is activated, quick effect, detach material from this card, negate activation, and if you do, destroy it. So again, he's going to be our normal boss monster. It doesn't matter which art you guys go with. I like the alternate one. I think it's cool looking. But this is your normal boss monster. This is the guy you want to go to. This is the guy you want to develop as soon as possible. He's so cool. He's on infinite and permanence, guys. That's how cool he is. I don't know about all that, but he is. So again, that's the normal boss. Going over to the fusions now, you have the Barbaroid. How do you make him? I just told you. You got to watch Nova go away. This card can attack twice during each battle phase. That's amazing. It's 4,000. This can cannot attack the opponent directly, and you're like, boo, but it's fine. He's there to punch big things, and he does it well. After damage calculation, if this card attacked an opponent's monster, negate the effects of that monster, including while it's in the graveyard. And if this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, inflict 1,000 points of damage to the opponent. If for some reason you attacked a 0-point attack point monster, you'd actually get 5,000 points of damage off doing this. Or, you could attack defense monsters and still clear board while still punishing. It doesn't need to be a direct attack to be a devastating attack, and Barbaroid is going to do that for you. And again, he's a great target for the Dogmatica punishment. He is worth 4,000 points, and that's going to destroy nearly every monster that shows up on the field. Then we got the Chimeritic Fortress Dragon. It cannot be used as fusion material. Can only special summon this card from the extra deck by sending the above cards, which is Cyber Dragon plus any one or more machine-type monsters. Doesn't have to be monsters you control, they just have to be on the field, which is why we run the Jizakuru. You don't use polymerization. The original attack of this is equal to 1,000 times number of materials used to play it. It's generally always going to be 2,000 plus. And again, if you're playing in a mirror match and your opponent has the Cyber Dragon and they've got some monsters, out their monsters with it. You know, their Cyber Infinity, their Infinity can't stop you. So there's that. So again, run it at 2. Again, if you don't want to run it at 2, run it at 1, whichever. You do have the Mega Fleet. Mega Fleet is Cyber Dragon monster plus 1 or more monsters in the extra zone. So this is a possible up to 3. This is if you got to deal with your opponent's extra zone. Cannot be used as fusion material. Must first be special summoned from the extra deck by sending the above cards from either field to the graveyard. The original attack of this becomes 1,200 times materials used for the summon. Again, no real effect, just a big beater. Max of 3,600. Still not terrible. I still ran it at 2. Came in handy. The Overdragon and the Rampage. These are your 2 targets for the Overload. Again, if you don't want to run the Overload, tech in a card of your choice and make this a Borreload. And I don't think I was running Cerberus. So then you can add 2 more links. Overdragon is Cyber Dragon plus X machines. When this is fusion summoned, send all cards on your side of the field except this to the graveyard. Original attack and defense is materials times 800. And you can attack opponent's monsters up to a number of fusion materials used to create it. So it can get big pretty quick. Again, I kind of just threw this in here because I love looking at it. And this is the original Phantom of Darkness too, so that's pretty cool. And the Rampage, the slightly better. 2+ Cyber Dragons. A fusion material of this can only be done with the above materials. When this is fusion summoned, target spell traps on the field up to the number of fusion materials used for this. Destroy them. Once per turn, you can send up to 2 light machines from the deck to the graveyard. And if you do, each monster sent to the graveyard... if you do, for each monster sent to the graveyard, this card gains an additional attack. So this guy can attack up to 3 times and can do a variable Feather Duster for you. So again, it's kind of a cool option to be able to pull off the Overload fusion, which is why I included it. And then Mikaba, again, just like the Barbaroid, the only way that we're going to be playing this guy is going to be off Nova. Once per turn during either player's turn, when a spell, trap, or monster effect is activated, send a card of the same type from your hand to the graveyard, negate the activation, and if you do, banish the card. So again, this is a once per turn negation, just like Infinity. But again, this is another reason why I liked to run the 9 traps. Gave me a much better spread for the cards. and gave me more ability to negate evenly across the board. But again, you know, they stop you from going to infinity and you still feel the need to do the control. Go to Mikaba. And then the links, you guys know these ones. IP Masquerena lets us link during our opponent's turn. Has to be made of 2 non-links. And of course, whatever it does make cannot be destroyed by opponent's card effects. So that's pretty cool. Phoenix and the Unicorn, both very basic. 2 monsters, different names. 2+ monsters, different names. This one can discard a card, destroy a spell trap on summon. This one can spin one of the cards and seal it back into the opponent's deck. So again, pretty cool stuff. I do hope that you guys enjoyed this. I hope that made sense to like rip the Xyz out of the way there real quick and do them out of alphabetical. But I hope that you guys get a chance to play this. If you guys are looking forward to the test hands, I'm going to have that up tomorrow, which is going to be weird. I might have a double up video. I'm not sure yet. Based on that, it's going to get crazy here in the next few days. So please bear with me. There might be 2 videos in a day a couple times. But outside of that, I hope that you guys have a great day. Do all the things. Go get yourself that cup of coffee. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.